21일 새벽 4시 40분입니다. 5시 40분, 8시 40분 2시간 동안 맹렬하게 한번 뉴욕타임즈, 그 다음에 아침에 책들, 그 다음에 바이블, 그 다음에 EBS 관련 프랙틱한 부분까지 한번 2시간을 한번 맹렬하게 입력을 좀 하겠습니다. 먼저 토요일 날짜, 어제 토요일 날짜 뉴욕타임즈입니다. Ukraine put him in a starting role. He won the West support like a SoundCloud rapper pushing a new single through TikTok. Zelensky speaking to reporters at the 2023 G7 summit in Hiroshima, Japan. Even before Putin announced his special military operation in Ukraine, Zelensky had banned 3 television channels reportedly owned by a close associate of the Russian president, a move that the Speaker of Ukraine's parliament described to Schuster as an illegal mechanism that contradicts the Constitution. By the book Janice Y.K. Lee. What's the last great book you read? The Bee Sting by Paul. Read that enormous, brilliantly absorbing tome in 2 days. Ganging up on Trump's rival, Republicans coalesce around the frontrunner and call on opponents to quit. With only days left until the New Hampshire primary, Donald J. Trump and his allies are stepping up their efforts to muscle Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis out of the Republican presidential race by casting Mr. Trump's nomination as the inevitable. The strategy reflects an urgent desire to end the race quickly and avoid an extended and expensive battle for delegates heading into Super Tuesday on March 5th. Mr. Trump is facing 91 criminal charges in 4 jurisdictions, as well as 2 costly civil trials where he had used voluntary appearances at New York courthouses this month as public relations and fundraising vehicles, but February offered him few such opportunities, meaning he would need to rely on his political strength alone to generate the momentum for Super Tuesday, when voters in 16 states and territories will cast the ballots for the nomination. One element of Donald Trump's inevitability messaging is his growing discussion of possible personnel for second term. Republicans edge closer to losing their majority. Resignation and absence for medical reasons cut into lawmakers at the margin. On almost any issue, there seems to be a Republican faction breaking away. It is tricky, Mr. S said. You have to be patient. Why you probably don't need crypto funds. Fear of missing out. Fear of the missing out isn't a great reason for investing in Bitcoin, which is still highly speculative. For drivers who aren't yet ready to buy fully electric, automakers are offering more hybrid options as sales of gas-free cars slide. Nearly 1 in 10 new cars in the U.S. pairs a gasoline engine with electric power to save fuel and improve performance. If the new Camry can maintain its sales, Toyota will convert a few 100,000 buyers to a roughly 50 MPG hybrid in one swoop. If not, the Camry franchise will take a huge hit. New reasons to fret about North Korea. The country is acting very strangely, and some veteran analysts fear of the war. The globe is already pockmarked with the crisis, and here may be another. North Korea is acting in highly unusual ways, leading some veteran analysts to fear it is preparing a surprise attack on South Korea and perhaps on Japan and Guam as well. I've seen many false alarms since I began covering and visiting North Korea in the 1980s. I wouldn't write about this latest warning, except that it comes from two particularly credible experts who bluntly concluded that Kim Jong-un has made a strategic decision to go to the war. 북한에 관한 기사는 따로 특히 좀 다뤄야 되겠네요. First of all, Israel's women, female combat soldiers, are serving in Gaza after a long fight for acceptance. In Germany, weakened economy at a standstill. Weakened economy. Falling industrial output and political bickering have hampered growth. Germany started the year with Berlin's streets choked with tractors and farmers blaring horns, furiously protesting proposed budget cuts. Then train engineers worked off the job to demand better pay, stranding commuters and the carloads of freight and leaving the country angry and gridlocked. 52 places to go in 2024. From the beaches of Mazatlan, Mexico, to the rugged coves of Marbury, Newfoundland, the sky will be the stage on April 8th as a total solar eclipse that sweeps across North America. His alter ego, PDQ back depleted musical airs. Peter, 1935 to 2024. But to his resigned chagrin, it was as a musical parodist in the tradition of Victor, Anna, and Spike. Mr. X's particular idol that he remained questioned on. It's January at the big Himalayan resort, where's the snow? Like much of the rest of South Asia, Kashmir is experiencing extreme weather pattern, including record summer heat wave that lead to rapid melting of glaciers, which are major water source for the region's 8 million people. Sports. On a way to a coaching milestone, Stanford's Tara will soon own the record for college basketball on the wins. Career wins, 1,203 national champions. Yeah, I said no. I said no the first time, then came back and met with Stanford's track coach, Brooks Johnson. How you took this coaching job 4 decades ago. Your dad said you were crazy because you couldn't win in basketball at Stanford. Were you crazy? Living, exposing the bare facts in a relationship, infidelity, romance, and insecurity should all be topics on the table. I haven't believed in monogamy since the grad school experience with him. This impulse normally only lasts a moment while we untangle what it is that we are stuck on. Fashion, shopping the shows in Milan. I could easily imagine myself wearing the slouch, elegant overcoat in gray wool with dropped the shoulders and oblong leather buttons, but even in fantasy, that too is beyond my pay grade. We look at clothes all the time, and yet seldom do we experience them as intended by their creators. French president steered to the right. Macron set the course for the new government with a focus on youth. Scramble for shelter in Iceland. Volcanic eruption forced 1% of the country's population to evacuate. A classic landscape smothered in hotels, flood of foreign visitors, strange water supplies, and housing on Greek island. 30.9 million. Number of foreign arrivals to Greece in the first 10 months of 2023, a record. Iran's potent missile get the West's attention. Recent usage designed, experts say, partly as a sales pitch to customers. We have to get together with the Western democracies and the Arab state, quite frankly, and figure out a plan to deal with Iran. Usually, women break new ground in Gaza's front line. The war has come at a low point for women's representation in the Israeli government. It's a process, said Captain P, a platoon commander in a mixed-gender battalion. The B usually deployed along Israel's southern border with Jordan. 52 places to go in 2024. Yeah. Tasmania, Australia, where foraging for ingredients is part of the local flavor. Science lab. Not the tyrant, but the fearsome forebear. But the team's dating of the rocks now suggested that the McRae Formation was 5 million to 7 million years older than Hell Creek, and that the specimen was an earlier relative, which they named Tyrannosaurus. 52 places to go in 2024. While Grand Canyon National Park is no stranger to a travel bucket list. There's a new reason to visit the southwestern United States. Germany, once a powerhouse, is at a standstill. New German automakers must compete with electric cars from China, and the nation vies with the US to attract the tech giants. Big banks are opposed to the rule change. Unlikely coalition forms to fight the regulators' plan to raise capital requirements. If some version of the proposed U.S. plan is completed this year, the rules will take effect in July 2025 and be fully operational by 2028. Opinion: China's economy is in serious trouble. President Xi's leadership is only part of the problem. My great concern is that China may not respond nearly as well. 2 lessons from an ancient text that changed my life. Every gesture of recognition marries love and humility, vulnerability and sacred responsibility. Ostracization was a punishment used sparingly in ancient times. Troubles, dog of prey that finally premieres. Christian's new work was delayed last summer by complaints about him. Judging by the tepid reaction to the emigrants, the postponement would have been a good opportunity to rethink it. Adapting a non-fiction book becomes an emotional journey. could I have found a scare in Georgia to do it and enjoyed the tax credit? He built a community beyond just a competition. New York City Dancer Alliance, now 30, is Joe's gift to young hoppers. I started thinking, well, maybe college is the next door we can open. Yeah, Normandy, France, celebrating a region's role in the Impressionist art movement. The revolution began quietly a century and a half ago, with the carnivals depicting a port in this region in the northern France. She made making an emotional voyage. I felt like I knew where she was coming from just by reading her words. The hidden lesson of American fiction. If white people define black people by our suffering, it's often because we tell them to. Meanwhile, some believe it is the anti-racist for black people to portray ourselves as a people for whom standards must be loosened thanks to the legacies of our past. New regions to fret about the North Korea. Public health officials can't risk the face of the public. What role did the experts play in fostering distrust in their advice? International homes, a retreat in Sarajevo, a city that bears scars. Architects reclaim space in an area used as a base for attacks in wartime. The design does not seek to erase traumatic events, but pay tribute to people's resilience. If Oprah pays for it, you keep the design. This couple's Upper West Side apartment has been virtually untouched for 20 years. That way, when we saw the perfect apartment, we'd know it was the right place for the money. We were just going to look. 거충거충은 이렇게 있고, 지금 북한 뉴스가 심상치 않은데 이 부분은 따로 자세하게 읽겠습니다.